Let's build a camera setup. All right, so as I've been getting more into videography, I've had this really big desire to have a handheld cinematic setup. Right now when I'm at the gym, I shoot with a slider tripod, which gives me some really nice panning shots, but there's a whole side of cinematography that I haven't really tapped into, which is like those handheld shots. It looks a lot more natural. Maybe you're following behind someone while they're running. If I am shooting handheld, I'm just holding my camera. And that has worked for some handheld stuff for me, but I don't have an ergonomic grip on there. I don't really attach anything else to the camera because all I have is the one attachment point at the bottom. However, slowly I've gathered different pieces for this handheld setup, and finally everything has come in the mail. I got it all laid out right here. I'm gonna kind of go over what each piece is gonna do, and then we're gonna put it together and hopefully have a lot better of a handheld setup. First off, we have our camera cage. This is a cage from Small Rig on Amazon. Pretty affordable with tons of different attachments. It's obviously made specifically for the Sony A7s. The only downside, which I'd probably run into with any cage, is that I have to take the lens off my camera in order to get the body into the cage and then put it back on. But honestly, it's not like I'm hot swapping between different cages, so this is not really that big of an issue. So first off, we're gonna toss this thing in the cage and that'll get us started with our setup. Next thing, which is obvious, is we got to throw a battery in this thing. I'm just using the normal batteries that come with an A7. I plan down the road to get a bigger battery to attach to the bottom, and then I can power multiple things off of that. But for now, we're just swapping batteries out. If I'm at a shoot, I can just put my charger over in the corner, or when a battery dies, grab one off the charger, throw a new one on there. Next thing is, I'm throwing on my lens. The lens I've been rocking with for pretty much all my video work is a Sigma 24-70. This has an aperture of 2.8. It's really good for low light stuff. So we're gonna slap that on there. And on the front of the lens, I like to put this diffusion filter. It's not a name brand, it's just a cheap $30 one off Amazon, but it works really good for diffusing highlights, especially when I'm in the gym and we have those LED lights over my head. It just gives them a nice soft glow. I think it looks really cool, and it just works with the cinematic content that I like to make. Next thing we're gonna be putting on is the carrying handle on the top. This is also from Small Rig. It's just a static, easy to attach handle that's gonna go right on top. Next thing I'm using on this setup is a separate monitor. I got some extra batteries off Amazon for this that come with the charger. Apparently the ones that came with it when you purchase take like 3 extra weeks to ship. I don't know why, so I just canceled that part of the order and I got something else. I'm gonna attach this to the front of the handle here. That way it's higher up and closer to me, so it's easier to see. And it's not somewhere down below or next to it where I still have to lean down and look at it. The other thing I want is a microphone on top of the camera. This is something I might not always have on the camera, especially if I'm gonna have a microphone on myself or on someone that I'm talking to. But for now, we're just setting this up to be kind of a run and gun setup. So we're gonna toss this thing on the top anyway. This is probably way too much detail for the video, but we're also gonna put an SD card in there. I use pro-grade SD cards because I shoot a lot in 4K, and if you don't have an SD card that can handle so much footage at once, your camera will automatically stop filming at a random time as soon as it gets overloaded. Now, I'm not a world-class cinematographer, but I do really enjoy what I do. I work with some clients, I shoot a lot for myself, and I work for my church as a full-time creative director, and so a lot of that involves video work. Being able to build setups like these is really fun, and I honestly just want to share it with other people just to share how I go about it. And if the setup works great for me, then maybe someone else would find this setup useful for them. This also goes to show that you don't need a crazy awesome camera in order to shoot good content, because I've shot this entire video on a Sony a6300. It still shoots in 4K. You can shoot in S-Log for better color grading later, and if you have a good external microphone, your audio is going to sound fine. So don't let people with super expensive setups intimidate you from getting started, because you can start out with a lot of different cameras and still get great quality stuff. That's all I got for now, and I'm going to test out this setup now.